Fuck they talk about. They smile in your face, hand you the pill, tell you it's freedom. Lies. But the graveyard full of unborn kings tell a different story. Real shit. Let's get it. Planned Parenthood, that's the slaughterhouse, niggas. System set it up to bleed us out, nigga. Bleed up. Pills in the clinic, needles in the vein. Fucking needle. Black babies dying while they counting the change. Counting hoes. Nigga, wake up, this ain't birth control. This genocide wrapped in a pretty pink bow. Pretty lies. From the block to the womb, they want us gone. I'm spitting truth till every last one of us know. Back in the days when crack hit the hood, Saints cooked it up, now playing do good. Flores ain't gonna let her read it in the light. Read that shit. Exterminate the Negro, yeah, she wrote it that night. Now it's pastel walls, free condom smiles, while the ultrasound, cold count, black babies and pals. They told shorty, it's your choice, girl, live your life. But the stats don't lie, 90% black when it's night. I'm from the gutter where the clinics outnumber churches. More death than God. Preachers on payroll, politicians purchase. Abort the future, call it women's health. Bullshit. Why the prison pipeline thank them for the wealth? Stacking body. Nigga, I'm loaded, clip full of facts. Son, every click a drive-by, body bags in the back. Pull up, dog. Planned Parenthood, that's the slaughterhouse, nigga. System set it up to bleed us out, nigga. Pills in the clinic, needles in the vein. Poison, bitch. Black babies dying while they counting the change. Count blood, nigga. Wake up, this ain't birth control. This genocide wrapped in a pretty pink bow. Pink cough. From the block to the womb, they want us gone. I'm spitting truth till every last one of us know. Hey yo, flip the script, let's talk numbers, nigga, run it. 79% in NYC, black mothers gunning for the table with the stirrups. Doctors say it's quick. With the blood on the floor, look like the corner we flip. They fund the buses. Free rides to the chop shop. All the same tax dollars like that's for a zip lock. Eugenics and scrubs, smiley face on the logo. Target the zip codes with a Section 8 flow. Target it, nigga. Population control. Fuck is grand. But his kids in private schools minding the hole. Holding the ground. I'm screaming from the stoop megaphone to the sky. Scream. Every aborted seed, another reason we die. Die slow. Niggas in the trap, baby mamas on the pill. Pills killing us, sending us the bill. Living at death. Mama crying in the waiting room. She crying, nigga. Daddy lock and make the ultrasound. Lock for nothing. They said it's just tissue, but I feel the heartbeat. I feel it for little king or queen, never gon' see the street. Never gon' breathe. Lord forgive them, they know what they do. They know but I'm exposing every lie they selling is true. Truth bomb. Cali clinic popping like swap meets on Sunday. Popping death. Black and brown bodies, they sweep them up Monday. Sweep the floor. PP on the block like the dope man post. Free cheese bus to the clinic, lil' mama toasted. They tell her you ain't ready, girl, you only 16. Seen it gone. The same mouth, push plan B in the machine. Pushing poison. I'm riding with the truth, top down, no tent. Every billboard, baby, could've been my little prince. From Harlem to Compton, the plan stay the same. Fucking plan. Thin out the herd, keep the niggas in chains. Mental shackles now, no need for the whip. No whip, just pills a copay and a signature, watch the future slip. Slip away, nigga. Read the letters. Follow the money. Follow the blood. The same bloodline been playing chess with our lives since the ships. This is day one, nigga. Same conspiracy. This is history. Yeah.
You gotta love it when you click on something, but you ended up not clicking on it somehow. With that being said, man, you already know what it is. We're back here to serve some more game on the ground for them Hungry Hounds. We just got the pound and are ready for the next rounds. With that being said, y'all can see the title of this episode, this live, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be looking at Candace Owens' interview with MYRON Games. What the fuck do I look like Dustin Poirier right now, bro? That shit crazy. with that being said, man, we're going to go ahead and get this pulled up on here. Let me actually go ahead and do a couple things real quick, because I already know YouTube be hoeing sometimes. Alright. Boom. Just like that. Alright. Change that. Alright, let's get it, man. In 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Candace, thank you for having me here.
I'm excited, and thank you for making it work on short notice.
Of course. These are crazy times, so I totally, we got to be careful about where we're at, right?
Right.
So it's been a while since we last spoke. Last time you were on remember we did after hours where you were saving a few women's lives, and I did want to tell you this on camera. One of the girls that you spoke to actually quit OnlyFans on that day.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a good conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people think that, I guess, those conversations are not worth it or the show is all theater. But for me, I want to sit across from these young women because anybody's life could have ended that way. You know what I mean? Like I could have ended up being one of these OnlyFans girls if there weren't so many like life interventions, because it's just being sold to women so much that this is the easy way out. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but I want to make sure I told you that, you know, on camera, that she literally quit like not too long after you did that show. So that's great.
And you know what's crazy with what she just said? There is an endless amount of dudes who sit there and claim to hate Candace Owens and all this, that, and the third. But if she had an OnlyFans, they would go and get it. That's just facts, and it's sad too.
You're saving lives. So kind of with that, I saw that you had did a debate on Jubilee with a bunch of feminists. Obviously, we're in a modern day age. Things have changed quite a bit. We've both been pretty critical of feminism, but I think with what you're doing, you know, you're able to really reach a demographic of women that just guys like me and Andrew Tate and others just aren't going to reach, because, you know, we're abrasive in the way that we get it. So they might want, you know, another female's perspective on, you know, the detriments of feminism and everything else like that. So kind of given how society is now, how do you see feminism today with young women? And then what do you predict is going to happen in the next 5-10 years? Are we getting better? Is it getting worse? What are your thoughts in general on that?
So I was actually very interested in Tate culture, as I'm going to call it. So I'm going to put you in that orbit of Tate culture, all of these male influencers that were coming out and calling girls bitchs and hoes and all this stuff. And people sat back and were like, oh my God, this is horrible, whatever. But I'm like, wait a second, whatever you think about him, whatever you think about Tristan, whatever you think about Myron, this culture got very big very quickly, and there's got to be something there, right? There has to be. So that was the reason why I flew out to meet Andrew Tate. There was all these conspiracies that I knew him before, and all. I met Andrew a total of 2 times before I did his show. My husband hung out with him maybe 3 times in his life before him and I met. He was actually friends with PJW, and that's how I met Andrew.
Gotcha.
Like, so my husband was actually friends with PJW, and I just wanted to know what it was. I'm never a person that will dismiss something on its face and call it a name. Like, there has to be some substance here. And what was actually happening was you got Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate and you got Myron Gaines because you perpetuated a culture of Lena Dunhams, right? So you're acting like men just got tired of it, is what happened. And finally, men looked around and somebody stood up and said, it's actually okay to be a man and you don't have to listen to any of these women. Now, you may not have liked how they said it. You may not have liked that they were doing this on top of Lamborghinis. But the reality is that what sat beneath that was a horribly toxic culture where women were dictating the terms to men, and every time a man did something that actually felt natural to them, you called it toxic masculinity, and books were written, and Lena Dunham's writing articles, and there's a show about this, and Lena Dunham's naked on Instagram. I wrote a whole chapter about Lena Dunham in my book, and she's naked on Instagram, and she's lecturing you if you don't want to see her, you know, overweight, naked, and tatted up. So you can't blame the culture, Tate culture, until you are ready to address where this actually came from, which was women constantly bashing men over the head and telling them that masculinity, full stop, was wrong.
Given the problems that we have, you know, obviously, whether it's me or Tate or other people, will kind of come in and say, hey, this is what you need to do as a guy. You know, this is how the modern day marketplace is now when it comes to dating. What's your approach to kind of combating this problem from a female perspective? First,
you have to understand the origin of feminism, right? You have to understand that this was not a culture and an ideology that came because they wanted women to have equal rights with men, okay? This was a CIA-sponsored PSYOP. Gloria Steinem was sponsored by the CIA, okay? These protests were sponsored by men in government. A lot of them homosexual, actually. And the reason for that was simply because they wanted to tax, it was actually twofold, I would say. They wanted to tax household income both ways. And also they wanted women to, instead of focusing on their kids, which comes natural to women, right, to be the quote unquote, like I say, CEO of the household, they wanted to remove that and to have the children given to the government for 6 hours a day.
Why is it not surprising that it was mostly homosexual men that were pushing that agenda within the CIA? That doesn't surprise me one bit. I didn't know that. But it's not surprising. Crazy, bro. You never know what type of crazy shit goes on inside the CIA. You really don't. I mean, unless you're Alex Jones, of course, who probably has all types of stuff on the CIA and all these other governments. He's been calling stuff out for a long time, man. I wonder what Alex Jones is doing. You might have to check out, see if he's done anything new recently.
beyond 6 hours a day, 6 hours a day, plus whatever sports activities, which gives the government full control over the minds of the children. This came straight from the Pale of Settlement. After they assassinated the Tsar, you had these Jewish women like Emma Goldman, who came over to America. Emma Goldman
said crazy work. That's 100% facts, bro. You never truly know what goes on behind closed doors.
Was the mentor to what's her face from Planned Parenthood. I'm blanking on her name for a moment. I was going to say Margaret Sanger. That was her mentor. And so this was, in fact, a very radical communist movement to America. Emma Goldman, the Tsar, you had these Jewish women like Emma Goldman, who came over to America. Emma Goldman was the mentor to what's her face from Planned Parenthood. I'm blanking on her name for a moment. I was going to say Margaret Sanger. That was her mentor.
That's crazy, bro. If y'all don't know, Margaret Sanger is the one who initially started the segregation and the KKK and all that shit.
And so this
go look it up if you don't believe me.
Was in fact a very radical communist movement that came to America and sought to overthrow families, family institutions, strong men, feminine women, stands in the way of government and absolute control.
In your book, Make 'Em a Sandwich, what are some of the things that you tell the women? Because I'm assuming it's a book that's going to be centered around how women can kind of get in a marketplace, find a long-term partner, get married. What are some of the strategies that you tell women to implement to find a partner? You don't have to give it all away.
No, it's fine. I don't even try in my book to sell them a strategy or a technique. I just tell the truth. So here's the history of feminism. Here's what we were told in school. Here's actually how it went down, right? Knowledge is power. I give them the actual statistics of the fact that what was sold to you was you were going to be just like a man and you were going to be happier. Women are actually more miserable than they've ever been. If you go back and you ask most women about their grandmothers, they remember grandma being happy, right? So what they actually sold to you, now you've achieved this equality, quote unquote equality, and women have never been more miserable. And women are popping more pills than they were popping and finding it harder to find a partner and wondering why. Well, it's because you attacked natural masculinity. You told men that they shouldn't be allowed to lead. Women have to lead. And actually, you didn't want that, right? You were convinced psychologically in a classroom, as I was back when I wanted to be a feminist or I thought feminism was cool.
This is Alex Jones goes live every day. Word. I gotta tap in with him one of these days. I haven't seen Alex Jones in a minute.
And you should know that. I think that that's how you change things without trying to say, here's a strategy and here's how we're going to move forward. Let people know true knowledge, let people know true history. And I think the rest of the stuff happens naturally, or I hope.
For you on your journey, when did you figure out that feminism was a lie? Was there a certain event that triggered it that you were like, holy crap, this is yes?
I actually tell the story in this book. I think I do actually. I think it's in this book, or it's in my last book actually. It's in Blackout. Of this teacher that I had, and I was required to take a Feminism 101. It was called Women's Studies. Maybe it was Women's Studies 201 at the University of Rhode Island. And at that time, I was like, yeah, I'm a feminist, of course. Who doesn't want equality as they sold it?
Yeah.
You get into this classroom, and this teacher, I realized very quickly, was not actually motivated by wanting equality. I was in a classroom where she was trying to convince me that every problem that we had in society was due to men. This was a literal class that was designed to basically teach women to hate men.
Yeah.
No matter, all you had to do to get an A was she would introduce any problem. She could have lost her keys that morning and been like, why did this happen? Well, you know who designed cars? You know who designed cars? You know who designed the whole concept of a car key and who designed the couch that you lost it in this morning? It became to the point where for me, it was like laughable.
Yeah.
But there was this one particular class where it clicked for me because when I was in college, I had an eating disorder. So I was sitting in her class and I was anorexic, and she gets into this topic of anorexia, eating disorders. And she gave us some statistic about the percentage of women that have eating disorders. And I'm making this up now, but it was something like 80% of people who have eating disorders are women. And she asked the class, why is that? And we were supposed to say, and she did say, that it was because men control the advertising agency and men want women to be skinny. And it had literally, I'm sitting here having this experience, nothing to do with a man. Nothing, no man said, you're fat, you have to be skinny. That is completely made up. And I'm listening to her try to psychologically convince me that my eating disorder came from a man when it just factually didn't. Most people who suffer with anorexia know it's a control mechanism. It actually has nothing even to do with weight. It just is this is the one thing you can control. And
This is why the Department of Education, no matter what level, what grade, whether it's fucking kindergarten, pre-K, elementary school, middle school, high school, college, what? It needs to be monitored as far as what they're teaching people. That's 100% facts. That's why Trump wanted to tear it down and rebuild it, because he knew that it was just ass. He knew what they had turned it into was just pure ass. That's I've never heard of that before, bro. I've never heard of a college professor talking about every issue in the world is a man's fault. And that was the class that they taught. I've never heard that before. That is crazy.
Kind of called her out on that, and I raised my hand. I was like, whoa, wait a second. Okay, well, let's look at another statistic. What percentage of people are juicing up with steroids, right? That's not a super healthy thing to do. If we said that 90% of it was men, would you have presented to the class that it was because of women, right? Because women are telling them they have to look like this. And she was, when I say she went white, and she said to me, and I always tell the story on stage, she said to me, I feel like you were sent to me from the men's department.
Of course.
Yeah. And I told her back that I was sent to her from the common sense department.
Yeah.
And that everything couldn't be because of men. So I think that was kind of the first time that it clicked for me that this was some sort of a psychological program. In many ways, I was actually saved by.
How old were you at that point?
I was in college,
20s?
so I was 19.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
it was the first year of college.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a prerequisite. So it was interesting for me, I think.
Did that make you shift your part?
It says, I just saw a post that says Kim Jong banned unalives in his nation and said anyone who does it will be unalived. The absolute oxymoron that is crazy. We've banned the unalivement of other people. So if you unalive somebody, you will in turn be unalived. But we banned unalivement. It's like I always say, man, these are your mates.
But he's like,
I was never a gun-ho feminist. I just was like in the back of my mind, same way that I was liberal. Like I was never voting Democrat, but if you had asked me, what do you think about this? I would have very quickly been like, of course we need feminism.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of thinking, man, these women are really annoying in this classroom. Because then there were the majors that were there, you know, the people, these women that were tatted up and like growing their armpit hair out. You know, we had those people in class and I was like, I don't like any of these people.
Dude,
so it made
nasty,
me think
bro.
that
That is nasty. Who wants to see a female with hair all over her body and tats everywhere? If you hate men so much, why are you trying to be like them? That doesn't make. I just fucked my own brain trying to figure that out, bro.
or something more to the feminist movement, I think, which was indoctrination.
Interesting. Okay. So I think you've been able to do what every woman dreams of: have a family, have children, have your dream man, but simultaneously being able to also, you know, run a business and do what you want to do. And I noticed when you were debating on Jubilee, some of them tried to say, oh, well, you're a hypocrite. You're over here talking about feminism being bad, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, you obviously have a lot of things set up where you maximize your ability to be with your family, right? You do your show, get out of there, spend time with your family. What would you say to the people that sit there and try to call you a hypocrite because, you know, you're successful in your own right, but you've been able to also balance a family, which many women can't do. They want to do it, but they can't do it. What would your response be to those critics?
First and foremost, do not allow people to rule you by exceptions. What I mean by that is it is such a mistake to look at my life and to say, Candace did this, and so therefore I can do this. My life is actually exceptional, right? We are sitting in my house. I do things on my own terms. I wake up in the morning. I get to homeschool my kids, right? I'm homeschooling my children for hours. That's now very important to me. I get to do a podcast from home. And I am actually doing something that I enjoy, right? What is the number one thing? If you find any woman that makes it and she's successful, what is she doing? She's tapping into her femininity, communication. Women communicate more than men. I have a whole chapter on this. If you have a daughter and a son, you know this. Girls start speaking faster, and we will speak more words from men for the rest of our lives. And when you actually look, and I ask people in this chapter, who is the most, if I ask you the question right now, who is the most successful man in the world? Just give me your answer. If you have to name a couple of them.
I was going to say, like, from a financial perspective?
Yeah, sure. Full stop. If I said who's the most successful man in the world,
I mean, you could say, like, the richest guy in the world who I would be Elon, even though it pains me to say that. But
Right? Yeah. No, but that's
we're
the
gonna
right.
go
You
off-
would say
yeah.
Elon, or you would say
Something based on meritocracy, finances,
you
and
would say
status.
Jeff Bezos. Everyone
Precisely.
would say the same answers, right? If I ask you who is the most successful woman in the world, what would you say?
That's where it gets. Yeah,
Right.
that's. I see
But
what you're
but
saying.
like, what is it? Like off the top of your mind, like what are the names that come to your mind?
Yeah, it's an ambiguous. Like you're like, okay, well, are we gonna go off career? Are we gonna go off where?
But
Versus
most
man,
people
it's
would
like,
say like Taylor Swift
Yeah.
or Oprah. These women are
Beyonce.
nowhere near the richest women in the world. Nobody knows the name of the richest woman.
That is hilarious, bro. Facts. Candace is speaking facts, man. You ain't even lying. What's good, Sandar? Schooling is about memorizing stuff and being obedient robots. This is a great interview. Is she talking about how she homeschooled her kids, though? But what you just said is the reason why her kids are not in school. And that's 100% facts.
In the world. And so I go about through this in my chapter. Yeah, you'd say Beyonce. I'm like, these are the names that you would say off the top of your head if I asked you who's the most successful. Nobody knows. Everybody knows the names of the most, the richest men in the world, and yet nobody knows the names of the richest women in the world.
Good
Right?
point.
Nobody knows the names of them. And the answer is a Russian woman. And I talk about this in my book. I'm like, nobody knows her name, and the women that you do name actually all tapped into their femininity. Taylor Swift was writing songs about relationships. She was writing songs about looking for love, and women flocked to this. Oprah was communicating to the housewife, right? She was speaking about issues. They're tapping in actually to the one thing that actually you think they're standing against. Oh, they're the ultimate feminists. But they tapped into their femininity and found success, actually. And women do not, when we think about success, we don't measure it in terms of finances. That's why these women we think are the most quote unquote successful women in the world. Whereas men naturally think finances. Oh, it's Jeff Bezos, it's Elon Musk. So I do a chapter and I speak about that in my book about who the richest woman in the world is. And then the next 10 women who are the richest in the world are all rich because of who they divorced. Right?
Yep. Yeah.
So what is the picture that we're recognizing here?
That's crazy. I never thought about it like that. See, isn't it interesting and crazy how the way the male and female brain works is so interestingly different? Yet when they come together like that, they become an unstoppable team. Spiritually speaking, that is. Isn't that crazy? Two beings who think completely different. Men are providers, women are nurturers. It's simple. Yeah, I know, but when you think about it in the way that she said it, it really be like, damn, bro. Like, I never thought about it like that. They try to make it a competition nowadays. They try to make everything a competition nowadays, bro. It's just, some things just don't need to be competitions. That's a sigh from losing your ass. That's facts. Some things just don't need to be competitions. But it's like she said, when you ask a man who the most successful person is, they think financially. That's facts. And I forgot what I was going to say. Roll the tape, bro.
We don't measure success in the same terms as men measure success, nor should we. And it's important for women not to think that becoming financially rich somehow means that you are successful or that you have triumphed something in life.
And since having children, like, how has that like shifted your priorities as far as, I mean, and you can go into as much detail or as little as you want, as far as like how you kind of prioritize child rearing versus like maybe your career and doing social media as much? Because I noticed, you know, before you were super active, you still post obviously every day, but now it's like, you know, you have other priorities. So how has that kind of shifted?
Yeah, my family is my number one priority. I would say having kids made me more secure than ever before. I just don't care about the noise. None of it matters anymore. And
say women are trying to outcompete men, digging out by getting dug in by more men. That's wild. Imagine making it a challenge to see how many pool sticks you can take and milk pour them. Hey, Bonnie Blue already did that, bro. Or did you forget? She took 1,000 dicks in a day, bro. She did. Let's not forget, it's already been done. But no, you know what's even crazier than that is the fact that there's some dudes out there who are competing against women to see how much they can get dug out. That's the mind-blowing part. Roll the tape.
Also, I have real stake in this fight. Before, these were just ideas. America shouldn't be run like this. This is why, this is what's bad. Once you have kids, you have actually a real stake in the future of America. So when I am podcasting, the subjects that I am covering to me are existential, right? Are we being ruled by pedophiles and criminals? That's now existential for me. What is happening in the school systems? What is happening in these churches? What is going on? This is now existential because my children will inherit the America that I fight for or the America that I remain silent about.
And just to kind of finish off with the feminism real quick. So what do you think are the top 3 things holding women back from fulfillment and happiness right now?
The number one thing I would say that's holding women back would be not understanding the history of feminism. I think once you know that, everything, like, knowledge is actually power. I would say the second thing that's holding them back is the psychology of peer pressure. And that is the psychology and the peer pressure starts when we are in school, with women being told you have to go to college, you have to have a career. The last thing you should be thinking about, you have plenty of time. You don't actually have plenty of time. Biologically speaking, you literally don't have plenty of time. Men might have plenty of time, biologically speaking, but your body is telling you you don't. And so I think, and then that kind of gets into the education. The education system truly is just Soviet propaganda in the classrooms. So
she's not even lying here, bro. I seen a clip. I don't remember what this dude's podcast name is, but it's kind of similar to Fresh and Fit. I think some dude that be sitting on a camera. His name is Jason or whatever. Anyways, there was like 3 or 4 females sitting around the table, and there was one girl who had gotten married at like 18 or 19 years old and had a bunch of kids and stuff. And the OnlyFans bitches were shaming her for getting married at a young age because they've been brainwashed into thinking that that's bad. It's crazy.
So those would be the top 2 things. And so they're ignoring their gut instinct and following the herd.
So understanding what feminism is and how it came into place makes it a lot easier to understand everything else. All right, fair enough. What do you think so far about this, switching to politics? What do you think so far about this administration with Trump?
Look at that.
Good, bad, the ugly.
Sad. Honestly, the first thing that I would say is that it makes me sad because obviously I spent a lot of time helping Trump get elected, trying to help Trump get elected, and Trump is...
I see a photo right here, yeah.
Yeah, he's a part of my political story, right? A part of my political awakening, if you want to call it that. And it feels to me like when he said, what Epstein files, are we still talking about the Epstein files? It was just like we were so close. We did everything we could. And we were supposed to be fighting with Swamp. And then what happened with the Loch Ness Monster, which is Israel, rose up and swallowed our hero whole. So it makes me sad. And I think we all can very clearly see what has happened on the basis of who is now supporting him. The literal Never Trump movement is now supporting Trump and telling us that we're radicals, the people who initially supported Trump. So there's been a complete flip, and they're trying to use this mechanism of psychology to convince us, oh, we just got here, but we noticed this rot, which is the original MAGA movement. It's completely ridiculous. Their tactics aren't working. But I think it also indicates to us that there is something very scary and sinister that is in DC, right?
It's called the shadow government. The real people who run the government. That's why no politician anymore is ever a real politician, because they're all bought out to a certain extent. Whether it's with money, whether it's with blackmail, doesn't matter. So the Pelicans are 2-13. The Thunder are 15-1. Shea doesn't even play in fourth quarters this season and is still averaging 32 points per game. That is insane, bro. Also, Luka is now outdoing Shea with free throw attempts per game because he got tired of Shea getting all these points by getting fouls. So he said, I'm going to show who's really the best. That is crazy. Bro, the fact that, the Pelicans need to go ahead and just retire. If they're really 2-13, they done played 15 games and they've only won 2 of them. You know their coach is screaming, bro. Their coach is about to fire the entire team. Zion is garbage. Their coach is about to fire the whole team. I guarantee you right now their coach probably thinks that the G League players could do better than what's on his team right now. The Saints have only won one game. New Orleans is just down bad. Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
That turns good men, like it like petrifies good men that go in maybe with the best of intentions, and then they see something else. Like, what happens to these people? We don't know. Like, where is?
Probably going to be investigated by the feds. Hey, that's crazy that you said that. Because that just made me think, what if the coach was telling them to lose the games on purpose? So he could put a ton of money down. That's crazy, bro. They were plus 8,000 to win against the Nuggets. That's how down bad. That is insane. That is insane, bro.
I mean, day in and day out, Cash Patel and Dan were saying, we're going to do this against the FBI. Now,
you know, whoever took that bet, man, some goofball probably sat around and thought, man, I'm going to make bank if this hit. Nope.
they look petrified. They look petrified, actually. There's nothing here, actually, to see about these Epstein files. What are you talking about? You kind of made your show off of what would need to happen with the Epstein files. So it's sad.
So if you were to rate them, because people have asked me this question, so now I get to ask someone else. What grade would you give them right now at this point, based on, you know, obviously the Epstein files, I agree with you, it's a huge debacle. It's going to probably be a huge negative in his legacy at the end of the day. If you had to grade his presidency so far, within what, we're 11 months in roughly, what would you say?
So I would say I'm biased. So if you're asking me to grade, you know how you would have those teachers where if you would take a test and they would automatically flunk you if you didn't put your name on the paper?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The Epstein thing for me is like automatic flunk if you don't put your name on the paper, right?
Gotcha.
So if like I'm a mom now, so this was the most important thing to me, was figuring out where the pedophiles are in our society. And
That was your number one voting.
this for me,
Yeah,
like
okay.
becoming a mother, because you have to remember Epstein, I did a partial series, a mini series on what we discovered about him. He just got pulled through the ranks, right? Bankrupted Americans. Same thing with the Maxwell family, bankrupted people in England, and was allowed to do this. He had absolutely no background. He was given access to children. He had an office on Harvard campus, despite only having a high school diploma, which I can't even verify his high school diploma, if I'm being honest with you. And this was going to show us everything. He had access to Hollywood. He was working with Weinstein. He had some notorious fight with Harvey Weinstein right before Harvey went down. So now I'm kind of going back in my mind and thinking that's a question I should probably ask Harvey Weinstein, is what they were fighting about. And he had access to models. I mean, this man was just handed the keys to Les Wexner's empire, which even how that empire started has got a shady story, with a guy who said that Les Wexner was the literal devil. He was the guy who controlled Victoria's Secret. He said, this man is evil. And then suddenly that guy jumps off the Golden Gate Bridge and decides to give his company to Les Wexner. That doesn't really make sense. So we had this rare opportunity to really understand how the Matrix was put together.
Donovan Mitchell had 2 points. He played 40 minutes? Hey, no, we gotta go look at Twitter real quick, dog. I ain't even gonna lie to you. We gotta go look at Twitter. We finna put this Candace Owens shit on pause for a minute, bro. We gotta go look at Twitter and see who's crashing out. He ended up with 21. Let's see. Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson are glorified ball hogs. What you mean glorified, bro? Blew my ticket again. You better be paying for my tickets. It goes back to the playoff game where he scored 4. points in the whole half and just ran up and down the court. Same shit they pulled with Donovan Mitchell tonight too. Gotta fade Ant Duel. What? What? So he had 2 points in the first 3 quarters. That is insane, bro. One thing I've been convinced of is that the Cavs need to pair Donovan Mitchell with a point guard. Instead, he comes up in the fourth and casually grabs 19 points. Yeah, I don't know, homie. Nobody gives a fuck about an NBA recap. Why Donovan Mitchell not attempt a shot in the third quarter tonight? That single-handedly chalked my slip. Eggs, no, bro. Boy. Excuse me. Donovan Mitchell made me cash out early. Now my parlay done hit for 4,400. I'm fucking sick. You know that dude put like... Oh, you know he put 4,000 down and only got 4,400 out of it, bro. Then fourth quarter started scoring. Yeah, I feel like he'd be doing shit like that on purpose. Donovan Mitchell just had one of those off nights. Happens to best players. Calling him a Vegas scapegoat seemed like a massive overreaction. Yeah, people crashed out. Hopefully Josh Giddey have a second half like Donovan Mitchell, because what the fuck. Josh Giddey pulling a Donovan Mitchell. Let me look at the Pelicans. Hold up. Dang, I really don't. I don't see nobody crashing out over them. It's crazy. Yeah. There ain't really nobody crashing out over them. What about let's try this. I don't see nobody crashing out over this either. That's crazy. Well, that's tough. It says type in prize picks. Oh, dang, I just clicked off of it. It says people crashing out, word. We gonna see. Whenever my internet decides to not be a douchebag, Fuck the Bulls. And their coach had Josh Giddey rebounds and assists at 19.5, and he ended at 18. Fuck Prize Picks too for only having Demon and Goblin options. Well, homeboy, that's what happens when you don't do the proper research and look at the recent data. Come on now. All I'm seeing is a bunch of goofballs trying to advertise their plays. Bro, who cares? Dang. Can't, man. Can't, man, and Kevin Durant. What? Durant. This dude went full on racist slave owner on them, bro. Can't, man. I'm trying to figure out who Can't Man is. Hold up, let me look at this and see who chalked on his slip. Oh, Anthony Edwards. Can't, man, Kevin Durant. Sold by the master and disciple. Y'all want my Cash App or Venmo? That is crazy, bro. That's crazy work. And Prize Picks be making up fantasy points just to keep your money. Like, what the fuck is this? That's tough, bro. Reed Shepard. Hold up, y'all. I'm going to show y'all this real quick. Yeah, that's tough. That is 100% tough. I'm gonna go ahead and stop that so I can show y'all this. Let's see here. Look at this, bro. Can you imagine the amount of rage that somebody has to feel? Oh, so I'm not even showing y'all. Hold up. Tweaking. There we go. Can y'all imagine the amount of rage that somebody must feel that this chalked by literally 0.1 fantasy score, bro. 0.1 fantasy score. I would be angry, bro. That's a reasonable crash out right there on Prize Picks, bro. That's a reasonable crash out right there. So it's not about how players perform, it's about how Prize Picks wants it to be. Let that sink in. 8 points from really quick. That boy got 8 points in the fourth quarter like that. That boy Max was going off. What did the dude say? Only takes 2 shots. That's tough. Oh, nobody cares about you. Goofy ass plays, bro. Nobody cares. What's this? Another goofy ass play. Oh, I'm about to hide this. I'm about to hide user, bro. I don't want to see nothing from no prop bet. Mute. I don't care. This too. I don't care about David Crowder neither. You can get up on out of here as well. Shit. Making it harder to find all the crash outs, bro. Fuck out of here, bro. Hide user. Dang! That done took away like 7 posts. Yeah. Parlayers. Hide user. Yeet. 502 slips. Hide user. Yeet. I just hit damn near the whole fucking... Who this? Ender. I don't know who that is. Hide user. Off, bro. PragerU. Guess what? Hide user. Fuck out of here, bro. Who this is? Pre-game pulse. Hide user. Think I give a fuck? Who this is? Locksmith. Guess what? Hide user. Angel Picks. Guess what? Think I give a fuck? Nope. Hide user. Joy. I don't even know who the hell you is, but you finna go ahead and get up on out of here too. Same thing with you. Legit picks. You legit hidden now. Agent Owen Betts. Get your ass out of here. What this is? PPV? Think I give a damn? Nope. I'm finna PPV your ass right out of here. Gallery Props. You can go ahead and get your ass on out of here too. Roy Betts. You can get your ass on out of here too. Chad. I don't want to click on your fucking post, bro. I'm finna get you up on out of here too. Yeet. Who this is? Bank Dolo Props. You can get your ass on out of here. Waze Props. Get out of here. You go ahead and use them Waze maps and get up off my damn For You page. Mr. Nelly Picks. Get out of here. Slickster. You can slick your ass up on out of here. Peace. Canary Capital. I don't care, bro. Get that out of here. Who cares about that shit, bro? All right. Oh, looks like we've reached the end of it. Let me refresh it and see if anything else has been dropped. Parlay Goddess. You can parlay your ass up on my For You page. Daily Picks. Mute. Eternal. Mute. Top Shelf. More like bottom shelf. Your plays is garbage. Boonigaro. Boonigan. You can get your ass on out of here too. Clip Set Picks. I'm gonna clip your ass up off my For You page. Savage Daily Picks. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get your ass on out of here too. Sly Guy, you out. Miguel Chavez, you out. You guys just be taking away all the fun, bro. Like, I'm trying to see people crashing out, and here y'all are just, ooh, look at my plays, look at my plays. Don't nobody give a fuck about your plays. What to say? Oh, he's not even crashing out. Okay, yeah, you can go ahead and get on out of here too. Yeah, we only want the crash outs on here. You gone. Look at this. At least I get my money back. That's one thing I like about Prize Picks. That's tough. Guess what? You ain't getting access to my For You page back. Bitch, bye. Dr. Prop. You can prop your ass up on out of here. Not a whole For You page is blank, bro. That is tough. That is tough. Search filters. What the hell is advanced search? Oh. It's crazy. Oh, man. Well, with that being said, all them bozos ruined all the fun. I'm going to sit here and take up the whole fucking For You page. With that being said, man, I'm sure there'll be more crash outs to check out tomorrow. I mean, there usually is. There's usually some every day. We laugh my ass off and people. He said, optimizing the feed, that's smart. I got tired of seeing people just fucking advertising their trash ass plays, bro. Like, nobody cares. They took all the fun away from it anyways. I ain't gonna see that shit no more. But it always cracks me up when people feel like they're entitled to a reimbursement from the players or the teams. That cracks me up, bro. It really does. But with that being said, man, we're going to go ahead and end this episode here tonight. This has been a fairly long episode. So, make sure y'all share with your friends, your families, your mummies, your aunties, your grannies, and everybody else y'all know. Y'all just heard my hip hop. I'm a creaky old man, and that's 100% facts. Deuces.